Let's go over the 10 best contracts in Major League Baseball. Me and James are going to rank our personal 10 best, compare them to each other, give you our thoughts and opinions. You guys loved the worst contract videos. So today on Black Friday, you get good deals. Let's talk about the best deals in Major League Baseball. Hope you guys all had a happy Thanksgiving, and I'm excited to show you guys our list. James, I know you have some honorable mentions. Are we saving them for the end, or you want to start them at the beginning?
I think we gotta save the honorable mentions for the end. I think it'll be a
Okay.
good place to end. So we're gonna give away too many of the guys that are on our list. We're giving it
True.
up.
True. All right. So then get me started. Number 10, where are we going?
Number 10's a funny one. I told you ahead of time I was going to have some weird ones on here because that's what I love to do. Geraldo Perdomo. I can't believe the Geraldo Perdomo contract. Funny that it kicks in this year. He signed it before last year. You got to be kicking yourself to have your career year, the first year of your extension, but 4 years, $45 million. This year alone, Geraldo Perdomo, just on dollars per war, which is one win above replacement being worth $8 million, was worth $57 million. So he was worth the entire contract in the first year of it. Even if he was just a 2-win player, like he was heading into this year as like an average hitter and great defender, like you're still coming out way on top with that contract. If he can even be half as good as he was this year, which is kind of what I think he will be moving forward, this is one of the 10 best contracts in baseball,
Yeah,
especially because of how hard it is to find a shortstop out
Yeah,
there.
so Perdomo didn't crack my list, but in terms of value, totally, like he is one of the best deals. I definitely went a different route than you. I'm starting to already think in terms of best contract. Perdomo had a great year. I think he's going to be a good player. I don't know if he's ever going to match the season he just had.
I
That
don't think
feels
so.
almost unsustainable, but I think he is very much one of the better half of shortstops in Major League Baseball. You can make an argument for a top 10 guy moving into the next couple of years for sure. For me at number 10, I went with Julio Rodriguez. Now, I know Julio's getting $209 million, and that's terrifying. But when he signed the deal, it was a 12-year, $209 million contract. Over the lifespan of his career, that's going to take him until he's 33 years old. The Mariners are like, we're going to buy every single possible good year in your prime that you could ever have. And as soon as we think you're going to be expired milk, which maybe is when you're 33 years old, we're going to get rid of you. You're going to be a free agent. You're probably going to go get paid again because Julio Rodriguez is a beast. And while he signed that contract, I think, kind of at the height of the hype of the Julio Rodriguez era, where he was an MVP candidate, and the numbers haven't really gotten close to that, like rookie or what was it, second year even season for him. He
Hmm.
still is very good. Premium defense in center field, still one of the better bats in center field, and I do think we're starting to see him get a little more consistent at the plate, where it normally had been first half Julio, second half he's an MVP. I think we're going to see better versions of him, and just being able to get every possible good year of Julio Rodriguez's prime for basically under $20 million a season is pretty insane to me.
Oh, for sure. Julio was on my honorable mentions, but I do think I probably went a little bit more of the value route, and you definitely went a
Yes.
little more the star route. Also, some looking through a bunch of these contracts, it's so funny to see the contract notes and the escalators on some of these guys. Like Julio, the total value of his contract, if he won an MVP every year of his deal, would be $470
Yeah.
million dollars based on MVP votes from 2022 to 2028. This is per Spotrac. He gets $25 million annually for the top votes, top two, no, for top 10 he gets 25 mil. Top, I'm fumbling over
There
my
you
words
go.
here, but you guys can go on Spelltrack, read this out. It's very confusing to read. These contract notes are a lot of fun. That if he continues to win awards, he can get $500 million. He can more than double the value of this contract.
And that's where it could get scary, I guess, if you're the Mariners. But also, if Julio Rodriguez is
It's
playing at
great,
that level,
awesome.
you're like, oh my God, we probably won a World Series.
Yeah, right. And that's the thing. So my number 9, I went with another star center fielder, but again, looking a little bit more the value route. This guy still hasn't reached the heights of
Do
Julio Rodriguez.
do we have the same number 9?
We might. Is it Jackson Chourio?
It's Jackson Chourio.
Nice.
That's crazy how we could just, especially because I think we are thinking about this differently. To have that guy penciled in hard number 9 for both of us, I totally agree with everything you're saying. We haven't seen the heights yet, but we think he can get there.
Totally. We almost might be seeing like kind of the floor for Jackson Chourio, and he's still like at worst like a 2.5 to 4 win player. And that's even with the defense taking a step back in his second year, possibly not even being like a lights out defensive center fielder anymore. But he's going to be worth against the Milwaukee Brewers luxury tax. Not that they'll ever come up against the luxury tax because they're the Milwaukee Brewers. 10 million. That's nothing. That's literally a bench player. That's not even a good bench player. That's like almost half
It's
what
like
Michael
Drew
Conforto made
Smiley.
this year. Yeah, literally. That's like a guy like I don't know if he's going to be a starter or a reliever. And like especially I looked at a lot of these pre-arbitration deals, especially like Bobby Witt Jr., Roman Anthony, two guys who actually were on my honorable mention. And they got so much more money, both cash per year to buy out their arbitration years and against their team's luxury tax. And Chourio, who hasn't shown the consistency or, of course, not the heights of those guys, but has every chance, I still think, to get to that spot.
I mean, the white elephant in the or not the white elephant, the elephant in the room. I kind of showed my hand there about what I'm going to talk about too. A lot of the Latino players who take these pre-arb deals early do not nearly get the same money or same deals that a lot of the American-born players do, and that's something that you'll notice over this is that a lot of the great value in these lower-term contracts tend to go to Latino players. Is it
Yeah.
fair? No, but is it happening? That's what's happening, and I do think organizations in general keep that in mind too when approaching these guys because for a majority of them coming from the countries that they come from, like they just aren't around the wealth. The money stretches farther for them than it does for the American players who have been around this their entire life.
And I do think there's kind of a funny, not funny, it's kind of like a sad discourse that goes around this sometimes where a lot of people, I mean, journalists, people that make content are like, this is ridiculous. Like these teams are like taking advantage of these guys. We're like, that is partially true in terms of surplus value. But the flip side of this, you could have a 21-year-old kid be like, here's $100 million. You're like, that's at some point, like wealth plateaus. Like if I
Yeah.
have $100 million, $150 million, like sure, if I get to like 500, $800 million, like Juan Soto, maybe that does change things a lot more. But there's a range there where you're like, just give me guaranteed wealth for then my bloodline for 4 generations, and I'm pretty cool on that.
And right now, the two guys that you've listed, and even mine with Julio Rodriguez, both Latino guys who took deals earlier in their
Yeah.
career rather than hitting free agency, something that doesn't happen too often.
Totally. Next, another guy who didn't hit free agency, but was really traded and also, just like Perdomo, signed a huge extension before having the best year of his career. Number 8, same,
You, okay, who is it?
Cal Raleigh.
Oh no, okay. I because this guy was also traded and like Perdomo signed a huge deal on the same team as him. I went Ketel Marte at number 8.
Oh, okay, yeah. Ketel Marte didn't even make my honorable mention, but I'm here curious to hear you talk through Ketel Marte. But Cal Raleigh, again, heading into this year, he was a good player. He wasn't a great player. I don't think anyone saw 60 home runs in Cal Raleigh's future, but you did always see 35 home runs and some of the best defense and some of the best leadership in all of baseball. So signing the contract that he signed, 6 for 100, you were like, that's a pretty good deal. Like you're, again, as the Mariners, you're getting surplus value as Cal Raleigh. You're taking care of everyone for the rest of their lives, their kids' lives, and their kids' lives. But now the fact you probably have a 40 to 50 homer bat who's going to catch most of the time, still play the great defense, be one of the best athletes at the catcher position in the league, and as a Mariners team that is absolutely right now locked and loaded to be a World Series contender. He's only costing you $17 million a year in your luxury tax, and once his arbitration would have ended, which will be after next season, the 2027 season, he's only making $25 million annually. And he's only signed to 33 years old with a conditional mutual option with 100 games caught in 4 of the 6 seasons from 2025 to 2030 to get his $20 million option after that. Like that is such a great deal. Happy for the Mariners. They locked that up.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh was my number 11. He didn't make it on
Mm,
my list only because I didn't put any catchers on this list. Like Will
just
Smith, I
yeah,
also think has a phenomenal deal. 10 years for 140 million
it's
is
crazy.
insane for him. The problem is with catchers is I just get worried about seeing the future with these guys
Yeah.
because you get beat up so much. It has nothing to do with the quality of player of Cal Raleigh or Will Smith, why I didn't include him on this list. It's more about the position they play. In terms of value in a year by year basis, Cal Raleigh's up there as one of the best in all of Major League Baseball. There's no doubt. But in terms of the grand scheme of like even thinking forward, I am interested to see like it will never be a bad contract. That's where I'll put it. It will always be a good contract, almost no matter what.
Actually, it might be a bad contract. What you're saying is true. I just think that the way that his bat took the steps forward this year, there's so much more space for it to come down. But in terms of catchers, they're in between position players and pitchers where there's always a lot more of a, call it like a disaster index, what could
Yeah.
possibly be happening to these guys. That's why my list is very not pitcher heavy. I'm sure yours is too, just going by the start of it.
Yeah, I have 3 pitchers on my list.
Okay.
Well, two and a half.
I have 3.5.
Okay, 3.5. Yeah. So my number 8, Ketel Marte, 6 years, $116 million. The average AAV is like under 20 mil a year, which is kind of insane for a guy who gives you some of the best offense in Major League Baseball. At second base, he's completely fine defensively. He's not a gold glove guy there. I know it's going to take him until I think he's like 35 years old, which you start to get a little bit worried about the age with Ketel, especially because of all the injuries. But the production that he's given over the last couple seasons and the way that his bat speed's insane, the power's insane. I think till the end of this contract, he's still going to absolutely mash. You just might lose some value on the defensive side. But when this guy's healthy, he's one of the 10 best players in baseball. And I'm also I love Ketel Marte, one of my favorite players in the game.
You're like the biggest Ketel Marte fan out there. I left him off this list because if you guys listen to the offseason preview, the trade episode that we did 3 weeks ago now, I went through every single reason Ketel Marte's missed a game over the
Yeah,
last 5 years, and it's a hilarious litany of hamstring, knee, back, quad, this, that, the other thing. So I think that all of those ticky-tack injuries for a guy already in their 30s kind of pushed him off my list, just from my perspective.
definitely fair. Definitely fair. This is my boy. I got to put him on there. All right, number 7, James. I'm going to jump the gun here on this one. I'm going to say Garrett Crochet came
Oh,
in at
okay.
number 7 for me. 6 years, $170 million. And after what the Red Sox did to him the last season, 200 plus innings, he's one of the at worst, 4 best pitchers on the planet, maybe 5.
I'd say
So,
3.
yeah, I would say 3 comfortably. But maybe if you're, not a big Garrett Crochet guy, you want to see more of him. He's one of the 5 best pitchers on the planet. And to get him for under $30 million a year, to get a dominant ace, it's just in terms of sheer value and what Garrett Crochet would have gotten on the open market as well. Like, what an absolute steal. This was a hammer $40 million a year pitcher.
Yeah, he's my number 6 on here. And I think a lot of similar reasons for that. And some of the reasons that we're going to see a lot of these guys closer to the top, not a lot of them, but some of these guys, I guess, more in the middle, is that it was a huge risk for the Red Sox to make
Huge.
that trade and sign that contract with him. It genuinely was. Like he had 219 major league innings at the time of signing that extension. And there was some scary injury history. There were genuine concerns. But he was also only 26 years old. So you're able to take that shot. And like you just said, this 5-year deal that's going to pay him 6 for 170. It only takes him to age 31. And there's some option years at the end of that. I'm going to look up for you guys in a second. But having an elite pitcher signed to 31 years old, you look at the other elite top pitchers in the league. Garrett Cole signed to 40, Yamamoto signed to 40, Max Fried signed to 39, even though we know in the windup he's not an elite pitcher, but just a free agent pitcher that went out there. Jacob deGrom signed until 40. Like it's very hard to get when Tarek Skubal hits the market next year, he'll be signed until 40. I'm almost positive of it. It's hard to get a pitcher this good in the league. And you only have him for, again, like you said, for your Julio point, the absolute meat and potatoes of their prime. It's an incredible deal. What took balls of steel by the Red Sox to go out and do, and still buying out 1 year of arbitration, but well worth it.
Also, shout Garrett Crochet. He's probably also going to get paid again when this
Yeah,
contract's up because we know pitchers too, like they'll be good until they're 35, 36 at times. Like they can
the good
still
ones.
be dominant. And if he really is that guy in his career, he'll go make another couple $100 million when he hits free agency in 6 seasons or 5 seasons now.
Yeah, and again, he has some strange opt-out stuff in his contract. There's a player opt-out available after 2030 unless he spent 120 days on the IL for a left arm injury. And there's also a $15 million club option available in 2032 if he spends 120 days on the IL for a left arm injury. So a lot of these things were taken into account with this. And I give credit to Garrett Crochet as a player who had these major injury concerns. And at the trade deadline 2 years ago, when people were talking about trading for him, bring him to the playoff push, he was like, I'm not pitching in the playoffs until I get my contract extension
Yeah.
because I don't know how many bites of this apple I'm going to get. And he knows he's a bit of a fragile bird. So you got to make sure you get that money. But just behind the Garrett Crochet contract, I had another pitcher. This is one I know you're not going to have on here. And this is me giving a tip of the cap to a guy who the contract's about to be over, but it's one of the cleanest, simplest, best contracts we've seen signed for a pitcher in recent memory at all. It's Kevin Gausman.
Oh, I didn't have him on there. You're right.
5 for 110 ahead of the 2022 season. The first 4 years of this deal, 730 innings with 3.48 ERA. Like it doesn't get better than that. And since he signed that deal, you have guys like Seth Lugo, Luis Severino, Sean Manaea, Nathan Eovaldi, Carlos Rodon signing bigger deals for more money, especially more average annual value. Like Sean Manaea making more money than Kevin
It's
Gausman.
disturbing.
Seth Lugo, Luis Severino, a few fewer years on those guys, but just think about that. The context of even who Gausman was when he signed that deal and who he's been during this deal and who he just was for the Blue Jays in the World Series run, that is absolutely a pristine contract.
No, Gosman's contract's been fantastic. He had probably about 100 innings when you were like, uh-oh, and then he figured it right back out immediately.
And he's awesome. Like he's also a cool story, like you just said with Crochet, where these pitchers, if you're really good, you can get paid a little bit later on. Like this Gausman deal was signed when he was older than Crochet is now, and it's
He's like
still
33, right?
Yeah, it's
Wasn't
still
he?
what I think he was 32 then, but
$32?
it took him a longer time to get together. He had that great funny season with the Giants after he was in the Braves and the Reds bullpen. Like it's been a
Orioles.
very funny career for Kevin Gossman. He was 31 when he signed it, so that
Okay.
would be what Crochet is going to be when his contract's up. But very funny career. Like happy guys back and an unbelievable deal for the Blue Jays.
All right. So then you got your number 6 is Garrett Crochet. My
Mhm.
number 6, Arizona Diamondbacks. I love the deals that they've been giving out. Corbin Carroll, 8 for
Uh-huh.
110 is just
Yeah,
complete
just missed
dynamite.
mine.
Again, buying out the RBers, but getting Corbin Carroll at was that average AAV? That is like
Not much.
$13 million a year for Corbin Carroll. That's unbelievable value. Corbin Carroll is one of the best outfielders in the game. He had the like half a season after he dislocated his shoulder where he couldn't hit from power. And since then and before then, he has been one of the most productive players in all of Major League Baseball. Huge Corbin Carroll fan. The contract's going to be awesome. He's a great athlete. He hits the ball hard. It's crazy the amount of amazing contracts the Diamondbacks have signed while also parlaying them with some of the worst that we've ever seen. Eduardo Rodriguez, one of the worst contracts of all time. Jordan Montgomery, one of the worst contracts of all time. We're going to see what happens with Corbin Burns. The injury's not helping him out. Like it's crazy how different some of their contracts have been, both spectrums.
Yeah, but it is funny that when you're a team like the Diamondbacks, who they're technically a small market team, but a small market team that's willing to spend, when you lock in these great contracts, you can take those shots. If any of
Yeah.
those shots would have hit, the Diamondbacks would have been a World Series sustained as a World Series contender for the last few years. But Carroll just missed mine because I get scared of the big injuries like that, even though there's going to be some guys on here with some big injuries because their contracts are better. But when that shoulder popped out a few years ago on such an innocuous play, a literal swing, the thing that Corbin Carroll's going to do, hundreds, thousands of times over the next year or so, to see that happen and ruin him for a year, it scares the shit out
half
of
a
me.
year, half a year.
No, there were 12 months though where he was bad. The first half of
Oh,
next year he was bad as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
He hit I think he hit like 21 home runs in like 150 game sample over that one happened, which is still like not bad, especially for that money. But just I don't know. We watched Michael Conforto close up as Mets fans. We've seen the Ozzy Albies contract fall off this list because of
Yeah,
shoulder
it's not on
issues.
mine.
Not
Yeah.
mine either, which I could never have imagined saying that 2 years ago. But those big, huge, scary injuries that can happen so simply scares me off that, especially because there's so many great contracts in the league right now. It just got pushed off for mine for that reason.
All right, tell me who's your number 5 then, James.
Hunter Greene, my
Hunter
top
Greene.
ranked, just straight up pitcher. And it's funny because I even think Hunter Greene, there's a lot more risk on him than I think a lot of people still want to give him credit for because he still sits 101 and he's still just seemingly something always a little bit nagging with Hunter Greene. But this contract is so good. 6 for 53 million with a $20 million club option when he's 29 years old. That if he pitches 100 innings a year up to his standards, this contract is still so worth it and still has so much surplus value relative to anyone else in the league. Like there's 4 more years the Reds have Hunter Greene, and he counts for $8 million against the luxury tax. Like,
yeah, no, but I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know what happened when I was looking on Spotrac. I don't think I got any contracts under 60 million on my list that I was looking at.
yeah, maybe
Won't,
maybe a weird sort.
won't let me go to the next page. Hunter Greene should 100% be on my list. He's not on it. Horrendous miss. If there's anyone under $63.6 million,
Didn't make it.
I thought they didn't exist.
All right, well,
Bad work on me there.
This was the lowest total contract I had, but still the highest non-position player or highest non-Otani position player I have on here. Just because, again, if he can give 110 innings like he did last year as one of the 10 best pitchers in baseball at $8 million on the luxury tax, this pisses me off about a club like the Reds where you have, again, a bona fide top 10 guy at the top of your staff. And it's free. It costs you not a dime. And you're still not willing to blow a bunch of money and spend to turn that team into a contender while you have this luxury for 4 more years. Ridiculous.
If Hunter Greene ever throws 160 innings in a season, you're like, this is the best contract in baseball.
The whole contract is worth it in 1 second. If he ever
Yeah.
throws 150 innings at a 3.1 ERA, done
Like
deal. Over.
he's so good. Again, should be on my list. Didn't even consider him because I didn't know that he was on there based on what Spotrac was showing me. Shame on me. That's bad.
Right.
My number 5, your boy Bobby Witt Jr., the
Yeah.
future to be best shortstop of all time, possibly. Now, I do know he's going to get paid a ton of money very soon. Like, this contract was very backloaded, but still, at the end of the day, Bobby Witt Jr., 11 years, $288 million. I know there's all the player options, I think, for $35 million towards the end. Great, incredible contract for the Royals, because there was no way that if Bobby Witt Jr. hit the free agent market, that they were ever going to be able to keep him.
No, but the reason Bobby Wood Jr. just missed mine is because of what you said. This is actually a hefty, hefty
Oh,
contract.
by the end of it, with if he takes all the player options at $35 million a year, you're looking at something crazy. And I'll tell you this, I don't even care for a second. He's that
No,
good.
definitely. He is that good. And that's the big part of this. But even at the time, this was the second largest pre ARB extension in history, which I think the other guy was number one. But because of how backloaded this contract is and the way the luxury tax works, he's costing $26 million against the Royals tax every year. And again, the Royals are a team that doesn't usually push up against it. So it's not really a big deal, but this should be a big deal for every team because that's the de facto salary cap in baseball. The fact that he's only getting paid $14 million annually this coming year, 2 years ago, he got paid $3 million and he still cost 26 against that tax. That turns this, I've looked a lot more for value on these deals. And while Bobby Witt is like one of the best players in the league and he's always valuable, like making 30 million, making 36 million in 2 years, like that's going to be the highest AAV for a shortstop in the league. Like that is not that he's worth it. He deserves that. I'm happy he got that. Shout out his dad, the agent, but on this deal, but it's a fat contract for a guy who at the time had not played much baseball.
Correct. Yeah. No, I love Bobby Witt. You love Bobby Witt. The contract's a lot of money, but I'm just like, he's so worth it. I
Yeah,
don't give a
100%.
shit.
No, definitely. I remember I looked at this one, the Roman Anthony one. I was like, damn, that's big money for these guys who hadn't played baseball.
Because your thing
yet.
has always been like Bobby Witt should fire his agent for taking that contract. And then you see, you're like, oh, he can just continue to get paid $35 million a year until he's 40.
Oh, no, 100%. I was so wrong with that take originally. And I think Bobby Witt Jr.'s dad, who was his agent, got tagged in a tweet I
think
had
so,
that
yeah.
went viral about that last year. Thankfully, he didn't come from my head, but I was incorrect about that one, Mr. Witt. So my bad. Hand up.
Number 4, James, who you got?
I feel like we might be the same 4-3-2-1 right here. I'm curious to see the order, but
Ooh, I don't think so.
Jose Ramirez.
Ooh, no, not for me.
Really?
He's higher up.
Okay, that's good. My 3 guys higher up, I think deserves to be higher up, but 7 for 140 without
Is
buying
crazy.
out any arbitration years. Like this is one where the agent should have been fired because that is
This is the contract I was talking about before.
this is obscene. 4-7. But again, a lot of times this happens early in players' careers to buy
Yeah.
out the arbitration. You don't have to deal with it every offseason. Arbitration was over for Jose Ramirez when this contract was signed. He was ready for the open market, and he signed a $20 million AAV deal. If he when he was already a perennial bona fide MVP candidate, continuous 5, 6, 7 win seasons coming up to it, if he would have been a free agent before the 2022, after the 2022 season, or after 2021, what do you think he would have gotten?
He probably would have gotten what? Close to 35, 40 mil a year on a 10-year deal, probably.
Probably, right? I even
Like
think
he missed out on just hundreds of millions of dollars.
and it would have been hundreds of millions of dollars without really risking anything. Like that 2021 free agent class, if I'm remembering right, that was the one he would have been in. That was a horrific free agent class. That was the George Springer, JT Realmuto, TB, Marcel. Like that was an absolute disgustingly bad free agent class that had huge money teams like the Mets, Blue Jays, Dodgers, and Mets throwing cash around left and right. Like that was, in terms of a missed opportunity financially in the history of baseball, this could be the biggest one.
Yeah, he might have left $300 million off the table, which is kind of
Four.
it's got to be like gut wrenching to hear about. Jose Ramirez, for those reasons, comes very high up on my list. In the time so far of his contract, by the way, he's averaging like 35 homers, 105 RBIs, 40 stolen bases, an 880 OPS. His MVP finishes in from 2022 to 2025, 4th, 10th. Ooh, bad year, Jose. 10th, 5th, 3rd. He's won a Silver Slugger in almost every single season. He's an All-Star every single season. He plays 160 games almost every single season. I feel so bad for the guy because he did this and fully thought that if they save money on me, the Guardians will spend money on other players, and they haven't done it for a second. And that's why I love that he came out and said, you've got 2 more years left of me. If you don't prove to me that you're going to put a winning team on the field, I'm out of here. I am not signing the extension. I got to go win. You guys don't give me a chance.
Yeah, it sucks that this bails out one of the most just wretched owners in all of baseball, Paul Dolan.
But also,
Guardians.
Who's his agent? Because everybody on the planet knew that the Guardians would never spend. They don't. Republic Sports, I'm sorry, but they don't spend money.
Job.
Bad job. You knew Cleveland was never going to spend. You got to tell Jose, you see what you just got paid, 141 million? Double it. Give it to the next person.
Literally, like this, he should have gotten 140 million for basically 3 years. That's how good of a player Jose Ramirez is.
Yeah.
And again, he's so valuable and he's been worth it so much for this team. But that is just such an obscenely sad deal that he signed based on what he was actually worth in that moment. Again,
Well,
not
I'll
buying
tell
out
you
the
where I put
arbitration
him
is
later.
crazy.
Yeah.
So who's your
All right.
4?
My number 4 is Logan Webb.
Oh, Logan Webb just missed mine. Wow, good
Logan Webb.
move.
Logan Webb, 5 years, $90 million. What does Logan Webb do? He throws 200 innings every year. He has a 3.1 ERA, and he is consistently one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball and also consistently one of the best pitchers in baseball. To get the value that you got from Logan Webb, that comes out to under $20 million a year. Again, like Sean Manaea is getting paid way more than Logan Webb a
Don't say
year.
that.
Kevin Gausman got paid $20 million total, more than Logan Webb in this contract. Logan Webb does have, again, the weird little caveat, which is why I left a guy like Fernando Tatis off my list, because the steroid guys. I think Logan Webb got popped in the minors.
Didn't he get popped for something
Was
else?
it weed?
I thought it was.
No, it was a PED. He got banned for it. I'm going to try to say it's an anabolic androgenic steroid, dihydrochlormethyltestosterone, DHCMT, 80 games in 2019, I believe when he was in the minor leagues at the time. So that's kind of like hey, we know there's something dirty back there. You're going to take this contract. And it ended up being one of the best contracts for the Giants. Like, imagine if they didn't have him, they'd be a miserable franchise.
And he had some big shoulder elbow issues too coming up through the minor leagues. Like he was a strange health
Probably
guy.
why he took the steroids.
Yeah, probably good reason. And he's such a strange pitcher where this was kind of a match made in heaven where I don't know if Logan Webb's game would be as good in every other ballpark in the league like it is in San Francisco, where he can just absolutely just rip the changeups and the cutters and like the funky sliders and the sinkers and
Let you hit.
And yeah, you let you hit and you can never hit a home run. One, because of how hard it is to hit a home run off him in general and how hard it is to hit a home run in that ballpark in general. Like that's truly a match made in heaven. He was close to mine. He's one of the final cuts. I bet shocked you had him.
Yeah, so far in that contract, again, it got signed in 2024. So he's given 411 innings of like 3.2 ERA. That's like unbelievable. Basically, they've spent $40 million so far and gotten 410 innings. That doesn't happen.
That's an obscene value. All right, so now I'm curious about who of my top three you didn't put on yours, because you might get. I know you hate two of these guys. So I mean, not two of the guys, but two of the teams. So you're gonna get some hate in the comments for this one, but. My number three is Ronald Acuna Jr. still.
Mine is also Ronald Acuna Jr. as well. He's my number 3. 8 for 100 is insane.
You left off my number 2. I can't believe you're leaving off my number 2.
Who's your number 2?
I think it's fucking obvious, but I mean, Ronald.
Is it Juan Soto?
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
But Ronald Acuna Jr. 8 for 100. That goes up to 10 for 124 with all of his options that are obviously going to be picked up. Like this is insane. It's funny how long ago that was signed and how much discourse has been about Ronald Acuna Jr. How often the injuries would have happened. If he never, ever would have signed an extension, last year he would have been a free agent coming off that second ACL tear. Isn't that kind of funny to think about? Like, I wonder what he honestly would have gotten on the open market with 2 torn ACLs. Like, still definitely a lot, but not. I don't think the 500 mil that we originally thought he would have gotten, especially because
I still think he might have been the 400 mil range.
Yeah, maybe 400, at least 300 for sure, double what he actually got in this deal. But he also would have been going into his 4th year of arbitration as a Super 2 player after the 40-70 season, so he would have broken arbitration records. Like he could have been like a $33 million arbitration guy, which is again a third of what he was guaranteed in this contract, which is kind of ridiculous. Think about it. You can never predict the future, but. Even that he signed this like 2 weeks into his MLB career, everyone was like, I don't think this is a good idea.
Yeah, no. In the moment, everyone was like, what? This kind of started the whole revolution of Braves contracts. Like, they signed him for how much? Like, what does Alex Anthopoulos know? Does he have dirt on these guys? Is he holding their family hostage? Like, how in the world, again, did Ronald Acuna sign an 8 for 100? And does kind of come back to the conversation we had at the beginning of this. Like, it's just, I don't want to say it's predatory because it's part of the game, but like, I think the Braves knew the leverage that they had over a guy like Acuna, and they're like, you're going to take this money. We know you are.
And this is also the deal where it's like, you can see how round of a number it was. Yeah. Here's $100 million. Exactly. Like, wow.
For 8 years. Like that doesn't divide out cleanly. It's not like
even with the injuries, he's been wearing 32 wins above replacement on Fangraphs over the line of his contract. That's worth $250 million for the $8 million for one WAR calculation.
God, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and still, that's with a lot of shit going wrong. He's torn 2 ACLs. Like, there's been some down years in this mix, which is kind of funny to say for Ronald Acuna Jr. And he's still worth, with multiple years left of it, double the max value of his contract.
Absolutely insane. All right. Number 2, James, I've got Shohei Ohtani.
Number 2? You Shohei Ohtani?
Yeah, I had him at number 2.
That's ridiculous.
Jose Ramirez is my number 1.
All right, Shohei is my 1. Aaron Judge is my number 2.
So the reason I didn't put Aaron Judge number 2 is not because I think it's a bad contract by any means. One, I'm a Yankee hater. Obviously, I'm going to have him on there too. I am interested to see what 35, 36 37, 38, 39-year-old Aaron Judge looks like. I am interested. He's so fucking big. He's so huge. And if the Yankees ever play him in center field again, which it seems like they might consider.
No, there's no way.
They might consider it. I mean, they got screwed by getting Trent Grisham on that qualifying offer, but
he did get hurt in right field, so maybe put him back in center. You could take pressure off the toe.
It is simply from a fact of I think it's a good contract. It's not one of my 10 best, but in terms of present value at this exact moment, yeah, $40 million a year for this guy right now is great. I don't know what he looks like in 5 years.
No, for sure, but he's only signed for like 5 more years, right? No,
he signed through 2031.
Yeah, this is year 4 of a 9-year contract. That's ages 31 to 40. So it's
this is year
4,
23, 24, 25. Yeah, year 4. Yeah.
So even if he ages not that gracefully, like he has so much.
I know those first 4 are so good. All right, I'm a Yankees hater.
He has so much room to come down, even from the guy he was last season.
All right, I could have bumped off Julio for him.
Aaron Judge, through the first 3 years of this contract, 1,100 OPS, 200 WRC plus, 312 batting average. Like what?
How many rings, James? Where are the rings?
That's true. Yeah, and he hasn't.
Where are the rings?
We still know he hasn't earned the pinstripes. But
wait, do I not have a glove in this basement? Oh, I have a ball ready. Hold on.
Let's see it.
Remember this? Oh, he dropped it. He dropped the ball.
Can't believe it. But he's been worth 26 wins above replacement these 3 years.
So
and he's had 2 serious injuries mixed in there. He busted his toe, and now we don't know what's even go wrong with his elbow. He doesn't even have to play the field for one more second in this contract, and it's worth it. He has to keep playing the field because the Yankees keep, bogging down the roster with guys who can't really play the field very well. But like the aging curve has to move gracefully for a guy that's still 100% better than league average. Like
he's really good.
When he's 40 years old, what's the floor going to be? Like 35 homers, a 350 on base, like a 125 WRC plus.
The only guy that we've seen like really like consistently have the heights of this was Barry Bonds, and he was taking steroids. So
there's no way to judge what the end of this Aaron Judge contract what's going to be. And you're right, maybe I was bold making him my number 2 overall contract because I started off with so much value, and now I'm just like, yo, that guy's so fucking sick. But
you pulled me on all the other guys, and you went with. Yeah. But to be fair, if there was someone to do it with, it is Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge. Those are the ones to be like, I don't give a fuck what you pay him.
No, it's obscene how good he is. It's really, to me, it's like I'm just excited to see what he looks like at 37 because we haven't seen it yet. And we might never see a comp for this again. Besides, maybe Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, besides Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, Ohtani was my 2. J-Ram was my 1. We don't have to talk about J-Ram. But again, getting Jose Ramirez at $20 million a year is like, it's insane how cheap he is.
Without buying out arbitration. A lot of these guys are on these deals because you're buying out the arbitration. Yeah, there's not guaranteed money involved there. So it's like, hey, here's a bunch of guaranteed money. There was all guaranteed. It was all in front of Jose Ramirez. But Shohei Ohtani.
And I can't give Shohei the 1 on every single thing we ever do that he's included. I can't glaze him like that. I gotta give Jose Ramirez his flowers.
Nah, I'm willing. I put Jose Ramirez here 4. I should have made him 3 just for the memes because he's always third in MVP. But it's like
that would have been good.
Even just as a hitter, the Shohei Ohtani contract would actually be worth it. Like the fact that the way the Dodgers played this, and the way it seems like there was, I don't even know. I think it seemed like looking back at this now, we're a few years removed, that this was always going to happen. It was always going to be Shohei for the Dodgers. And it was kind of about working together to make a contract that was as beneficial for both sides as possible. Because if there was truly open bidding like there was with Juan Soto, it's like, how in the world could you have wound up on the real value of this contract, not the 10 for 700, the 10 for 460? Truthfully, like,
yeah.
$46 million a year to luxury tax, like that's directly in between Judge and Soto, and he gets and he gets to pitch.
Yeah, he gets the pitch. That's the craziest part about it. In terms of like that is nuts. It's hard for me to ever put $700 million, on top of like as the best contract ever. Like there was no shot in the world I was putting Juan Soto on this. I love him.
No.
That contract will never be the best contract unless he becomes Aaron Judge and starts playing to 100% better than league average when he's 35 years old, which is like 10 years from now. But yeah, Shohei's contract's insane. It's also really funny to look at the deferred money because technically cash annually, he's getting about $2 million right now. And then from age 39 to 48, he's going to make $68 million a year. Like, shout out his agent. Shohei's going to get the rings. He can take this contract because the sponsorships and endorsements he gets. He basically makes $50 million a year in that alone. This is going to be like the richest athlete in the world, possibly.
The Dodgers get to print money because they have Shohei Ohtani on their team, and it's really now just going to be a race for the lawmakers of California to make sure they get this tax revenue when Shohei Ohtani inevitably leaves after this
back to Japan.
Buys a house in Texas.
What's the luxury tax deal for Ohtani's contract if he's not on the team, but he's still getting the deferment money? Because surely it still will have to count against luxury tax at some point, right?
No, the fact the luxury tax counts for the real value of the present day value of the
Okay.
contract. So the
Okay.
2 million with the 70. I don't know if there's an inflation calculation mixed into there. I know at the time there's a lot of people writing a lot of think pieces about this, but just the fact that it's the 40,
Also, I
46
do.
million against luxury tax every year while he's on the team.
Is there any world in the new CBA they write in something where this deferred money is going to count against to stop shit like this?
It
Can
counts
they do that?
it still counts against it. Like I do think that a lot of people over exaggerate how much the deferred money means in this contract. I think
Sure.
really it was just because of the liquidity of the Dodgers owners more so than trying to like scam the luxury tax. Because at the time, the 46 million against luxury tax that was still the highest in the league.
It's
I think,
still a lot.
and
Yes.
for the team like the Dodgers who actually spends money and tries to win, that's what matters the most. The fact that they have that big luxury tax bill, but relative to the number that was reported, I think it's just because of the first number that was reported. I think
Of
everybody
$2
saw
million a year.
yeah, it was the first tweet from Jeff Passan that stuck in everybody's mind. It's like that's especially people who are not like super deep, dense ball people like you and me and all you guys watching right here. It's like you always remember 10 for 700.
Yes.
That's the sticking one. But it's 10 for 460, and that is an obscene contract.
Yeah, in terms of what it actually does to the roster construction of the teams that he's going to be on.
It's like fucking Miles Turner money. Like it's insane. No, it's a little bit more than Miles Turner money, but it's ridiculous how cheap that is, and the fact that he's two elite players in one.
Yeah, he's ridiculously good. I just couldn't put him one. I had to put my boy J Ram, but we glaze Otani enough. He can finish second for once.
Yeah, right. So I got a couple of other honorable mentions here. I had Logan Webb, you had on your list. I had Julio, you had Bobby Witt, of course. Bobby was the one I really tried to squeeze on, but making a lot more than these guys. The Roman Anthony one too. The
He
Roman
was on
Anthony,
there. It's just need to see more.
yeah, the fact that he signed that in his first year, and he's going to be making bread on this pre-arbitration contract. Like it's kind of ridiculous how I'm pulling it up on Spotrac right now just to give you guys the exact dollars amount. So the pre-arb this coming year, he's going to make $2.6 million. He would have been a league minimum guy, two point
Yeah.
six million versus the 855 or 755, whatever that is. Next year, 4.6. The year after that, $8.6 million when he still would have been a league minimum player. That's crazy. And then the first year of ARB, 15 and a half, then 19 and a half, and then 23 and a half. Like those are very, very favorable pre-ARB and during ARB figures for a guy like Roman Anthony. And then after that comes out to a 25 to 30 and a club option for 30 when he's still only 30 years old. Like that is fat for a guy who at the time had played 30, 45 major league games.
But like us, the Red Sox, or anyone who's ever seen Roman Anthony play, you're like, that's a
guy.
superstar.
That's
That's
the
going to be a
guy.
guy who's going to be, well, maybe not in the next few years because Aaron Judge still exists, but he's going to be fighting for second and third place in the MVP for the future.
Yeah, right. And he got money from the pre-arbitration pool this year because of how well he played. He got some schemes, got some. I think it's cool that Major League Baseball does that now for guys that plays for these awards. Drake Baldwin did so too. And Roman Anthony has, of course, tons of escalators in here for MVP finishes because it's good to break those in. But those are only like a few $1,000,000 each. Like that $8.6 million in 2028 when he would have been a pre-arb player. Like hats off to his agents for that.
Yes.
Who has he got here? They don't even have an agent listed on Spotrac because
Really?
this has been the Anthony family.
Let me see what Baseball Reference has here as we're getting 40 minutes in. And Roman Anthony's nobody on his Baseball Reference either listed.
Wow, oh wow,
Could be Papa Roman.
Mr. Anthony signed a hell of a deal here. I got to say that then, because you got all the risk baked out for him, a lot baked in for the Red Sox, but also Christopher Sanchez always gets scared
What's
of
his deal?
pitchers. It's a cheap one. I didn't have it written down, but I just remember it was like one of those that you're like, how the hell is that Christopher
Sanchez gets 4 for 22.5 million dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's making $6 million a year with club options on 29, 20, 30 when he's going to be in his early 30s. Phillies just bought the prime for nothing, but still a lot of risk on a pitcher like Christopher Sanchez, who just went up velocity a lot. So we're curious about what happens in the future. Pablo Lopez is a cheap deal. The Tatis deal too it is still really good.
Yeah.
Even though we're curious about Fernando
Tatis.
Tatis.
He's got the ever looming like steroid suspension again. He
And
get
the
banned
wrist.
from baseball. Yeah.
And the wrist.
Like,
Jackson Merrill's on a great one. Sean Murphy's making $12 million annual, which is crazy. I had the Will Smith. And then, well, a little bit of credit to Francisco Lindor contract.
I mean, it's good value. I don't know if it's going to end up being one of the best contracts, but good value right now.
Yeah, only signed until his late 30s, not stretching into 40, and just a $34 million average annual. Like he's crushing that year-over-year surplus value.
It helps when you see like Xander Bogaerts get like
Trey
12
Turner.
years. Trey Turner, yeah, those guys' contracts. Even though Trey Turner's still very good.
Oh, the Trey Turner is awesome, but just those 3 years where Trey Turner signed till he's 40 and Francisco Lindor's out of there at 37, 38. Like that's a big difference on these deals.
Yeah, for me, my honorable mentions were Roman Anthony, Will Smith, Cal Raleigh. The catcher guys, I wanted to make sure they got some respect, but I get scared with catchers. I mean, we saw Buster Posey be one of the best players in baseball, and then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah, but he got crushed. But yeah,
Well, after that, he still came back and played so well, and then said, I'm good.
Yeah,
He got scared of COVID.
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty much it, guys. Let us know what you think down in the comment section below. What contracts did we miss? Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it. Subscribe, 10,000 subscribers. We'll be giving away a signed MLB jersey. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
I'm Giraffe Neck Mark. We'll catch you guys all on the next one. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy Black Friday. We'll see you next time.